Hey guys, it's Jamie here, and today we're going to start our flippy floppy album junk journal with a hidden spine. It's not a folio because I'm only doing 2 parts to the cover. I've got some cardstock here, which is 300 GSM. I don't know what that is in American. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up. I do have the measurements in American. The length of our cover is 8 3/4 inches by 22 centimeters, and the width is 7.5 inches or 19.5 centimeters. The centimeter conversion is approximate because there's a couple of millimeters in it. The spine is 3 inches across by the same depth, which is 8 3/4. And as you can see, you need 3 pieces. And the way we're going to put them together is with straightforward masking tape and a bit of a gap. You don't need much of a gap. So I don't know what that would be in inches. I suppose that's about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to take a piece of just normal painter's masking tape, nothing special in that, and pop that down, trying not to move anything when I do so. The same sort of gap and alignment on the other side. Lift the whole thing, and as you can see, you've already got your shape, and fold it over, mask down the other side. To cover it, I actually have 2 pieces of A2, but you can do this with normal sized paper. Because it's so much wider than I need, I'm going to join them together at the edge and then cut off the excess. You can do this with double-sided tape or glue. It's up to you. I'll probably just use glue. I do have some double-sided tape, and I may use it for later bits of this project, but you can use glue. All we are doing with this, and I don't really have enough room on my desk, is lining up our 2 bits of paper, sealing it down. Get something cut off this, then I'll have some space. Now what we want to do is cut our corners, not so they touch that, but so they're slightly off. Trim across, leaving a bit. I might take that a bit closer, but I'm going to get this to a manageable size first. So we're just cutting corners off. Glue this down. I'm just smoothing it down onto this. I'm going to use this and score through it. You can do this on a mat, line it up a little bit and just give myself a bit of a helping hand with the turn. That will help me start to turn up these edges onto the cover. And you do just need to do it quite gently, because I have a tendency, and you probably won't have that tendency, to rip at the cardstock. I score a bit heavily, manipulate it into the turn. I'll probably get this out of the way. You're going to bone folder it down. Now we've got that in place but not glued down, I'm going to hold this where it's going to turn and rescore along this bit, and the same this side. And then we can gently turn that over. Gently turn that. Going to cut up where the score is, not right to the top. Leave a small gap to the very top. Cut a bit out either side. That is going to help that lie down a bit better. And again, and then you will do the same on the bottom. And then what I want to do before I stick anything down is take a bit more off this turn here. You are just going to play to get it as neat as you can. This one's a lot easier to manipulate up without putting it on a scoreboard because it's a shorter length that you're pushing over. There's a bit of a gap there. What I might do is take the tiniest of bits, and if I throw that there, you can see that I have patched that gap. You can use double-sided tape on your very edges of this. I would also use some glue, but right along the edge, all along your edges with your double-sided tape. Starting where we scored first, I'm going to pull back the tape because I like to be sure I've got some Pritt stick, and I'm running that over it as well. And bring it over, bone folder that down. That is the start of your cover. For the hidden spine, you want a piece of card or strong paper that matches what you've just done your cover in. It needs to be 11 inches across and 8 inches down, which is 28 centimetres by 20.5 centimetres. With this, we're going to score it. I'm going to use inches first, and then I'll convert that to centimetres after we've done the scoring. We start at 2 inches. First score. The next score is 2 3/4. And the next one is 3.5. Then we do 4. From that, we're repeating the pattern from here. So we're going to go 4 3/4, 5.5, and 6. We've done our second pattern. Therefore, it's 6 3/4, 7.5, 8. Repeat, 8 3/4. Our last one is 9. Our first score is at 5 centimetres, then 7, then 9, then 10. Your next set is 12, 14, 15. The next set, 17, 19, 20. The final scores are 22 and 24. Ignoring that first score line, we're going to pinch together at this score line, that middle one. So you ignore that first score line. I'm going to turn it up just for my benefit. So we've made our pyramid on that second score line. And the next score line I'm going to turn just to make my life easier. But you're ignoring that one and you're pinching on the next big middle one. We're leaving our half gap like that. I don't know if you can see that very well, but when I pinch the next one, you will be able to. So on that middle one of our next pattern, we're pinching again. And now you can see that we've created almost a mini spine between our two pyramids. We continue like that. We pinch that middle line, create our mini spine. We just fold that inwards and fold that one that way. And then we have 3 pyramids. Final set, that middle line, on that score that we missed, fold inwards, and on that final score, fold over, and then we have our 4 pyramids. Now what you need to do to get those nice and secure, bone folder them down one way. Now we're going to reverse that and bone fold them the other way. On the reverse, we're going to be bringing those together. You can do it with tape or glue. Bring it together. I shall grab a couple of paper clips. Paper clip at the very end of that. We'll also, now it's paper clipped, just bone folder over that to make sure it's fully glued down. And again, we're going to bring our next pyramid together, which is there. So that's where our spine is now. So we'll bring our next pyramid together, squish it down just to make sure the glue's taken reasonably well. Same again, glue down one of the sides of the reverse pyramid. Just make sure they all sit nicely. Final pyramid. Add some glue. And bring that together. That is now 4 placements for pages. And this hopefully would sit in the spine. I'm just going to check where I've trimmed that up. I may have to do a little bit of patching. The inside cover, and you'll have to forgive me if I'm slightly out on my inches because I work in centimetres normally. Your spine covering will be 2 7/8 of an inch or 7.5 centimetres, probably just shy of 7.5 centimetres. And that means that you do not go over where you've scored that turn. And then your front covers are 7.5 inches across or 19 centimetres across. And again, the depth is 8 5/8 of an inch or 22 centimetres. I will be lining up on the turn and the top and the bottom, and there is the tiniest of gaps. For the majority of it, I will use Pritt stick, and then on the edges, I will use the fine nozzle glue. Right up to that turning point, because the less of that masking tape showing through, the better. Smooth it down and run over it with some kind of bone folder smoothing tool so you get all the edges, particularly these corner points. You want to bring the glue outwards towards the edge. Should have done it so that that will still turn. That's the first layer of the inside cover done. Probably going to add more to this, so it doesn't matter that I've got a bit of staining on, because I'm more than likely to use the papers from the kit to create inside covers, if that makes sense. This is just your base. It's now getting a bit stronger because we're adding more and more paper to it, and it already has some cardboard. Now we need to glue the spine in, and the idea with the spine is to go halfway between everything, glue it down, and again we're going to have to rescore where those turns are. Okay, going to judge it by eye for halfway. We take the smoothing tool and we smooth down all of the edges and in between. So we want to get everything smoothed down on these spines. Now this is fully dry, I'm going to score back down this turn again. And that I think is where we're at. Probably do some kind of ribbon closure on this one, but we'll look at that another time. Next time we will be making the base structure of the pages. I will catch you very, very soon. Bye!